It all began on the 18th of May 1974. India shocked the world by conducting its first nuclear test, codenamed Smiling Buddha. It happened in the Pokhran desert of Rajasthan. Though it was termed as a peaceful nuclear explosion, the message was loud and clear. India had joined the nuclear club. Prime Minister Indira Gandhi hailed it as a scientific triumph, but to its neighbors and to the rest of the world, this marked a turning point. The balance of power in South Asia had shifted. In the process, it also lit the fuse of a dangerous arms race in South Asia. Nearly 25 years later, in 1998, India stunned the world once again. Under Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, India tested 5 nuclear devices in the same desert in Pokhran, declaring itself as a nuclear weapon state. After a long moratorium, India conducted the series of these 5 nuclear tests. It was known as Pocran-II or Operation Shakti. These tests included both fission and fusion devices with yields up to 45 kilotons. India had then become the 6th nuclear weapon state in the world. India had crossed the Rubicon. The 1998 tests shocked the world, particularly the United States, which had failed to detect India's preparations. The US imposed economic and military sanctions on India under the Arms Export Control Act, including cutting off assistance, banning defense exports, and opposing international loans by the IMF and the World Bank. The US President at that time, Bill Clinton, imposed an ostracization of India which took years and multiple rounds of dialogue between Strobe Talbot and Jaswant Singh to be eventually lifted. And it was not just the US. At that time, Canada, Japan, and several European countries followed America's lead. They halted aid to India, they suspended bilateral cooperation. The global powers feared that there would be a new arms race in a volatile region that was South Asia. For the very first time in years, South Asia was under the nuclear spotlight. But it didn't stop there. Just 2 weeks later, this happened. On the 28th of May 1998, just 17 days after India's tests, Pakistan conducted its own nuclear tests in the Chagai Hills of Balochistan. The tests were again 5 in number, exactly the same as India's, were Pakistan's answer to India's show of strength. The move was widely celebrated in Pakistan, people took to the streets, the government declared a national holiday. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif called it a necessary act of self-defense. He also said that the score with India was settled. Pakistan was now the 7th nuclear weapon state in the world. But Pakistan's nuclear success came with a dark underbelly. In 2004, the world learned that A.Q. Khan, the father of Pakistan's nuclear program, had secretly sold nuclear technology and designs to countries like North Korea, Iran, and Libya. Under intense international pressure, President Pervez Musharraf placed A.Q. Khan under house arrest. There was even a dramatized television confession where Khan admitted that he sold nuclear secrets to rogue states. Yet he was widely revered at home as a national hero, but around the world, A.Q. Khan was seen as the man who created the world's most dangerous nuclear black market. He died under house arrest in shame and stigma. India has long maintained a no first use or NFU nuclear doctrine, meaning that it would only use nuclear weapons in retaliation to a nuclear attack, that India would never attack with a nuke first. This policy is rooted in India's strategic culture of restraint. It also aims to present India as a responsible nuclear power. Pakistan, on the other hand, rejects the idea of no first use. It maintains an intentionally ambiguous stand. It reserves the right to use nuclear weapons first, more so because it feels overwhelmed by India's conventional military superiority. And responding to this, many in India have also been calling for a rethink on the no first use policy. Estimates suggest that India possesses around 160 nuclear warheads, while Pakistan may have slightly more, around 170. But numbers are not the full story. Beyond the numbers lies strategy. India has achieved what is called a nuclear triad, which means it can deliver a nuclear weapon by land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles. It can also deliver it from aircraft like the Sukhois and the Rafales, and also nuclear-powered submarines. Now, what this does is it ensures that India has a credible second strike capability. India can hit by land, air, or sea. India, through the INS Arihant, now has the capability of submarine-launched ballistic missiles, or SLBMs. Pakistan, on the other hand, lacks a fully operational naval-based deterrent, making its nuclear strategy that much more vulnerable and that much more prone to risk. Pakistan can only deliver a nuclear warhead by inter-land ballistic missiles. But that is not the biggest risk for Pakistan. One of the most alarming developments has been Pakistan's focus on developing and the potential use of tactical nuclear weapons. Now, these are small battlefield warheads which are designed to deter or to repel conventional forces. These weapons, tactical nukes, have a lower threshold for nuclear use. They raise serious concerns about command and control. Pakistan also has massive internal instability both in Balochistan and in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And to add to that, there is the presence of terrorist networks like the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed. The possibility of nuclear material falling into the wrong hands is a global nightmare. Experts have long warned that nuclear terrorism may not begin with a state but with non-state actors. Which brings us to Pahalgam and what happened on the 22nd of April. For the first time, tourists, who are essentially civilians, were targeted. Hindus were singled out and killed. 26 of them died. The mood in India is for revenge. India knows it has to raise the cost for the Pakistani state to deter it from using terror proxies. But it also has to walk the fine line of not tipping off the nuclear balance. India and Pakistan are two neighbors, two nuclear powers who are locked in a dance of deterrence and distrust. The question is, who will blink first?